Blessings and greetings, greetings and blessings, blessed souls. We're live because we're blessed to stay alive in Torah Chaim, instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness, Torah Tzarachamim, instructions of mercies. And a question was posed to me today by blessed brother Dave Tuttle. Oh, I wish for Hashem to pour upon him blessings and his family, the Tuttle family, that he was the one that inspired me to start the Torah Meditation Club and a series of meditation series called Meditation Wellsprings for the Human Soul, which has been featured on blogtalkradio.com, and also we've typed out some of the information on Facebook, and also we've also shared some snippets through YouTube. So Dave asked a question which again inspires me to give a response, and again I want to provide a caveat. Whatever response I'm going to give, Brother Dave, Achi Dave, it's not the answer you're seeking, but it's information that will hopefully inspire yourself and others to look further into these matters. Of course, you have the option of looking from a Torah perspective, which I think that's what you're interested in. I know, in fact, I know you're interested in that. And as well, to encourage others to look for Torah sources for this type of question. Are physical ailments caused by spiritual imbalance? Well, it's a very big question. And again, I'm just going to give some suggestions for those who just heard this question or were here of this question, or might have had this question formulated in their minds and spoken about with others, to their teachers, to their mentors, to their spiritual leaders, to their friends and family. When we understand that there are four worlds, four general worlds, there is the world of action, there's the world of speech, there's the world of thought and the world of intellect, and then there's a realm called the Olam of the Ein Sof, the infinite world, which is where there is deeply rooted the divine pleasure and desire for creation as so decreed by the Creator. So in this hierarchy of four worlds, if we consider there's a hierarchy of four general worlds, the lowest world that we live in is called Olam Aseh, the world of action, which has been identified by the masters of the inner dimension of Torah, and in particular Shneur Zalman of Liadi, as a place where is mostly evil, and evil people rule the world in our current exiled condition, which means the environmental circumstances that all of us are placed under, we've all been born into it, and hopefully we're not contributing to it, where people are considered evil. What is the idea of evil? The evil is the idea of a lack of das, a lack of sensitivity and connection to the essence of godliness, into the essence of divine instruction, which we of Israel identify as the Torah. And therefore, the fact that there is this disruptive factor occurring in this living world where the majority of human beings, especially those who are in power, have a lack of sensitivity towards any sort of bona-fiable, tangible, internalized knowledge of godliness. Therefore, they act upon their own whims and desires. Unfortunately, historically, it has shown to be the detriment of the majority of the human family experience. So the fact that all of us have been born into environmental conditions where the majority of those who are the movers and shakers of societies the past several thousand years have been people not sensitive enough to want to make this place a sustainable, renewed Garden of Eden, that in itself is a great cause for physical ailment, physical suffering, mental suffering, intellectual suffering, soulful suffering. But we're not stuck here because we have guides in every generation, the righteous, the tzaddikim, who encourage us to express these matters, whether they be from the written Torah perspective or the inner dimensional oral Torah tradition, the outer dimensional inner Torah, the oral Torah tradition. So above again, this physical world which is mainly evil, which is referring to the lack of sensitivity to recognizingly, openly, that which is nature is really the manifestation of godliness within nature. The level above that is the Olam Yitzira, the world of formation, otherwise known as the world of speech, as identified in the inner dimensions of Torah. Speech has this great power to rectify these wrongs and to give instruction for others to write down these matters as testimony for what can be done to improve the human family condition. At the same time, too, the inner dimension of Torah, the sages, the wise men, the righteous souls of the creation throughout the generations have identified that the Olam Yitzira, the world of formation, which is also identified as the world of speech, is considered to be half good and half evil, meaning from there is outsourced, or as I've heard recently, can be downloaded down to the world of action, positive speech and negative speech. Now, as well, there is a hierarchy of the level of soul levels. The souls are actually one indivisible level, but how it's enclosed within the upper worlds and lower worlds, and it can be affected by its enclothement process. It's tenuah of hislapshus, so say its movement of enclothing itself into lower realms until again this physical realm is called ruach as well. Ruach, the nefesh is the animating energy, soul energy force that all human beings can access. Ruach is the spiritual, emotionally, hopefully flexible, emotional capacities of the human family experience. But again, those emotions can be bent in the wrong way. So in the first two realms, there's still a majority of evil, lack of sensitivity, because let's say half of the human family experience is using their speech properly. And it should be only be that they use it 100% of the time, not 99% of the time or 68% of the time, but 100% of the time. So you have the other half of the human family experience not using their spiritual capacity for expressing themselves in a proper way. We're talking about expressions of nivul peh, speaking dirty, lashon hara, speaking evil speech, rechilus, going around tattletaling on other people, motzi shem ra, bringing down someone's reputation. And all of these things not only can bring down the recipient of such evil speech, but the projector of such evil speech. But as well, connected to this idea of ruach, spirit, there is people whose spirits are vexed because they have jealousy, they have hatred, they want to compete with others to the point of conquering them. I'm not just talking about in the realm of sports, but in the world of business and the world of social relations. But one area of spirit which has certainly been identified by the sages of Israel and probably by other realms of spiritual teachings outside of the Torah of Israel, is the discussion about the injurious effect on the human body of anger, of kas. In fact, in the inner dimension of Torah, in the oral Torah tradition of Israel, it is taught in many, many places that when a person gets angry for no good reason, that all forms of Gehenom, of hell, rain upon him, her. Hashem Yishmer, Hashem protect us from such experience. And I know from my own experience being a counselor in therapeutic interventional crisis teachings, which was formulated originally, I think, at Cornell University in upstate New York, in Ithaca, New York, that the angrier a person gets, they actually, at that moment of severe anger, will in fact lower their IQ at the moment of their anger. And we know when people's IQs are lowered, they can make very heinous decisions which affect themselves and others to the chagrin. And unfortunately, it has been proven out historically that when people have road rage, and unfortunately, which is afflicting the human family experience too much in the previous several years, these acts of violence, some would call terrorism, just outright murder, premeditated murder. There's an anger which is raging because the thought process is that they cannot deal with what they feel is either rightfully unjust to them and their culture or society, or they have some sort of misguided interpretation of some sort of theological teaching, which is inspiring them to feel that they will be blessed for hating and taking those thoughts of hate and going ahead and hurting other people to the point of taking another life, which we know is an extremely heinous crime, premeditated murder, because basically what a person is doing is driving some aspect of the divine image, which is connected to the Shekhinah, off the face of the earth. So therefore they forfeit their own continual dwelling upon the face of the earth with their own personalized microcosmic divine image, their own microcosmic manifestation of Shekhinah, divine presence. What could be more injurious than that, David? Brother David, and those listening or those who will listen will see this in the future, that the anger which manifests as a continual thought processing of how to hurt other people to justify one's hatred in the name of some sort of thought process where one will be bequeathed some sort of earthly and heavenly reward, obviously that would be very injurious, because many times these people who carry out these acts lose their own life. There's nothing worse, there's no worse physical ailment than losing one's life as an outcome, a very negative and painful, and let's put it bluntly, a very evil outcome of hating and wanting to hurt other people. Again, I'm not giving you the final answer, Brother Dave, but just something for you and others, and even for myself, to go deeper into these issues. So the main thing is too that when we do have a physical ailment as well, there is a teaching from the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, who pulled from sources earlier than himself, that sickness is definitely reflected of some indication to us from above, from the realms of the Creator, which no one can understand unless they go there. And if they go there, they usually don't come back. Is that they are being summoned to return to their true self. Our true selves are to be who we are, not to be someone else, not to be another culture, another race, another religion, but to who we are. But there are 7 axiomatic commandments rooted in the Shemes B'nai Noach. If you're a member of the B'nai Yisrael, you have the 613. And with that, there's also an asterisk we must place next to the Sheva mitzvahs and the 613 mitzvahs that even Rambam writes about, that for the sake of schar, of reward, a Ben Noach can, if they wish to, for the sake of reward, can add on to their mitzvah observance. And in B'nai Yisrael, we have 7 mitzvahs d'Rabbanan that were throughout the ages, from great sages of different ages, of earlier times, decreed that we can actually add on 7 commandments. So there's actually 7 plus in the Sheva mitzvahs and 613 plus with B'nai Yisrael. So I think I've come to a conclusion. Again, I haven't answered your question directly, David, and anyone else who is going to be watching the video, but hopefully I've inspired you. And again, as I mentioned before, it's okay to be repetitive. You know, our hearts are very repetitive. Our respiration process is very repetitive. Our eating process is very repetitive. And we hope that our our healthy digestive process will also be repetitive. So it's okay to repeat. Torah is something very praiseworthy, to repeat something 100 times, and even more so to do it 101 times. It's from a Talmudic tractate that when one hired a camel or donkey driver to take them a certain point, if they took them 1 point past what the donkey or camel was used to carrying them, the camel or donkey driver could charge them an exorbitantly more amount of money, because they've driven the animal past their normal ability to travel from point A to point B. So when we review such teachings and we become repetitive, it's not because we have nothing else to say, because there's an instruction, chazara, in review of one's teachings. And may we be successful in repeating such teachings and reviewing these teachings and sharing them with others, hopefully in a way of ahava echad, one love, gorel echad, one destiny, for all of us, v'darchi noam, in a pleasant way, a darki shalom, in a peaceful way, laham shik b'ez Hashem yisbrek. We continue with the blessings of the Most High. Take care, everyone.